Okay, guys, so we're calling the guy who set the speed record in the ZR1.
Hello, this is John. How can I help you?
Hey, John, it's Brandon Byers, the Vet Titans guy. How you doing?
Hey, I'm a biggest fan. Thanks for calling. But I got a great idea. Instead of just talking to me,
Yeah.
let me go and put my partner, my co-driver, and navigator phone to Kelly.
Oh, okay. I didn't even realize there was somebody else with you. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, go ahead and give her a
I
call.
had a co-driver that was instrumental in the whole thing. Let me call you, merge the calls.
Okay, cool.
1 second.
That's a cool story. You had a chick with him.
Hi, this is John. Are we all online?
I'm here.
Hi, Brandon. This is Kelly. How are you?
Hey, Kelly. How you doing? I'm glad to see you guys are all still alive. That was a pretty fast trip you made.
We never had any fear of that whatsoever.
I'll tell you. So Kelly, I don't know if you know who I am or not. I'm a groungy, scroungy, nobody YouTuber who only got onto YouTube simply because I was documenting problems with the cars, and I like to kind of put up clips of anonymous drivers driving real fast. A lot of people say, "Oh, I went to Mexico," and I facepalm when I hear people say that, because what the police officers need to arrest somebody is they need admission of who was driving. And so on my channel, it's always the anonymous driver. We don't know who was driving because I've posted up my street address, PO box, to send me in footage. And so our footage obviously isn't in Mexico, because you can read the street signs and see the people are in America. We just don't know who's driving on my channel. So if you guys ever,
okay.
But anyway, I know what it's like to go over 200.
That, but we do it with the cop support.
Right.
Close the road down, and the police officers who we both really, really respect,
Absolutely,
are on the side of the road with radar detectors, making sure that we make it there safely. But they love the fact they get to go and oh, you got the fastest speed with 165. Well, I got a fastest speed of 210 with him going by.
Nice.
We're legal. We're legal.
How many police officers are up and down the strip when you guys go? And forgive me, it's two ways, correct? You got to get gas in the middle of it, I assume?
It's 59 miles of racetrack, and followed by a little brief stint where we fill up and check everything and get ready to go the other way.
I got you. Yeah, because I knew you can only
a timed event, every other high-speed time event where it's two directions to make it official.
Right. Because we gotta take the wind into account, and the wind can't be assisting you, so you got to go against the wind the other way.
Yes, that's how they do it, and it's a lot of fun.
Nice. So how long you been doing this?
I first joined in the October of 2021 and managed to make it to the Unlimited and get the Unlimited record in 4 years. Kelly, you entered in when?
2018.
Okay. What kind of
2018, I entered with the Grand Sport. Yeah.
Okay. And so did you run your Grand Sport this trip?
Well, it's funny you mention that. I had every plan to run that Grand Sport, and I had it up at K-Tech. It was getting some work corrections done that was from another shop, and we just ran out of time and could see I was going to run out of time. But it's a C6 2011 with an LS9 and then coolers out the yin-yang. And so John convinced me, well, he didn't beg, but he convinced me that if we put my experience and his experience in the car, we have a chance of beating the record. And so that's how I ended up in his car. And we worked. It was hard work. It's hard prep. It was 6 weeks or more.
Did you both drive?
Prep. We did a lot of preparation, and we basically saved 2 years, because had we done that same prep on each race, we would have had to have walked away, debriefed, and said, okay, how can we do this better? But by us zooming, and everything else that we did, John could tell you if he so desires. That's how we were able to improve upon what we did. And the weather gods were in our favor on the first leg. And then the second leg, we were down. This mountainous territory. People don't realize Texas has mountains. And the first half of the northbound race was we caught the wind, but we didn't catch it until we really hit up on the mesa portion of the race.
Right.
And then we felt that 30 mile an hour crosswind headwind.
Wow, that's a lot of wind.
Conditions for a record. Yeah.
I'm a kite surfer, so I know what wind is, and 30 mile per hour wind is no joke. So luckily it was coming.
It was right up our nose. It was a headwind.
Well, that's actually a blessing in disguise, because had it been from side to side, it wouldn't have been safe to be traveling those speeds.
Well, it was a crosswind headwind.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, if it ever hits you side to side, it's real dangerous, because the wind doesn't just blow steady. It kind of gusts a little bit, and it'll take you right off the road at those speeds. So it wasn't a crosswind in the sense of 90 degrees. It was more like a 20 to 30 headwind crosswind. So I'm a career pilot. I fly airplanes for a living. I gotcha.
That's where my expertise is coming from.
Yes, you know what you're talking about.
And I learned so much about the concentration and skill set necessary to go win this race from her. And the sterile cockpit policy is what we put in effect every time we got the belts on.
So the sterile cockpit, explain that.
Below 10,000 feet, pilots are only allowed to go and communicate what is mission critical, I guess.
Right.
It's only the job and no other thought but the job. Well, for us, the entire run was only the race and nothing else but. Our communication was limited to only what made the car go faster.
That's awesome.
Yeah, what's really interesting is that John isn't a pilot, but he really is interested in it, and he knows some of the language. And that was the interesting journey for me, bringing him into that world. And he saw the value in the terminal, or how we communicate in the cockpit, and lack thereof. And it gives you 100% focus on what you're doing. You're not worried about what the person's thinking about you or what just happened. You're like, my famous word that he absolutely loves is disregard.
What now? I keep up with details. You said LS9 in your Grand Sport. That's a C6 Zr1 motor, is it not?
That would be correct.
Okay, so you got a Zr1 motor in your Grand Sport's what you're telling me.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. It wasn't ready. So it's not.
Well,
I wasn't a player.
Are you guys okay? So you make it up to Michigan. Are you guys ever through Ohio at all? Because I've got a big kit that I took off my C7 that is in a big, huge Tupperware container that I could load up in your car and let you guys go play around with it. It's pretty self-explanatory, because on the C7 Z06, I had overheating issues, as everybody does, and I wanted to see if I could solve it. And the bottleneck to the cooling system on the C7 platform is, a lot of people don't realize how simple it is. The oil is squirted at the bottom side of the cylinders, and same thing on the LS9, I'm sure. The oil is squirted at the bottom side of the pistons, okay? So that means 1/3 of the combustion chamber's cooling is oil, cooling it, okay? Because the surface area of the metal, the piston, is 1/3 of the combustion chamber. So where General Motors screwed up on the C7 platform is they don't have an air-to-oil cooler, whereas Kelly, on your C6 Grand Sport, it did not come with an air-to-oil cooler. However, had you bought a Z06 or a C6 Zr1, there would be a optional oil cooler underneath the car. Your car probably doesn't have that air-to-oil cooler. I'm going to take a wild guess, at least not stock.
She actually added Durelli coolers to everything on top of. She has coolers upon coolers.
Okay, perfect. So
and that's what this race is, because at 20 minutes at full throttle,
exactly,
the car produces so much more heat than anything else you can do in racing.
Right, exactly.
And the heat is the biggest killer of this race.
Absolutely.
Because my ZR1 has got an LT5 in it. It's the same platform as the LT4 on the lower of the oil cooler. I'd love to try that.
Yeah, so I could never get my oil
very
temps.
excited about being able to be able to figure out how to get that kid out of Ohio and give it a shot.
I've never been able to get my oil temps up above 240. I mean, and everything else came down also because everything else is given a break. Now, the only downside is if it gets cold outside and you got this thing rigged up, you're never going to get up to temp. Okay, so there's the downside. So, but if you have a dedicated race car,
being cold, I'm worried about being too hot.
Yep.
Yeah, we're not there.
This is Texas desert. I'm worried about the first time they have to make us run at 100 degrees.
Yep, I got you. Well, I swear to God, I got the solution, and it goes in the front end of the C7 platform, and it's made for one of those look-alike ZR1 front ends where you make the cutout in the front end. I forget who makes that, but there are a few different companies.
I think, or Louis Gigliotti is the one that first came up with it. Chevy copied them for my car.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And Lewis, he did a lot of good work. And you mentioned what do you call it? You mentioned K-Tech. That's Pratt and Miller up there, right, where they did the C7 projects.
Now, yes, Pratt and Miller's got the racing now, but K-Tech was the home of Corvette racing engines, and they're brilliant. I was so impressed with their facility. I'm very glad they're worrying about our cars now and taking care of them.
So let's talk about the. And if you don't mind, I'm recording this. You and I talked about. I got the YouTube channel, and I'm just giving you a heads up. I'm recording it, so that way you don't have to say anything that you regret later, or we can always edit it out or whatever. I'm usually the outspoken one of the bunch, but what I was going to say is. Okay, so how fast, what was the max speed you guys got up to?
Honestly, I haven't gone through the data at Cosworth yet. And at that speed, I'm just worried about where the next corner is and holding it down and driving it.
That's right.
Because I run a polycarbonate windshield because critters are a big problem in West Texas. And buzzards are a problem. People have finished the race with a buzzard through the windshield.
Oh, my God.
So I run the 1/4-inch polycarbonate. And the HUD bounces around so much that I don't really look down for the speed. I just go until I know the corner's coming, and then I worry about it.
Yeah.
So I saw 213, but it might be faster.
Wow.
And the Cosworth data, when I get that out of the PDR, will be phenomenal.
213's hauling ass. The fastest I've ever gone in my life was I got up to 225 on two separate occasions. I had a C6 twin turbo car that made over 1,000, and I was spooked at that speed. The car was still pulling, but I had no desire to go any faster because I needed more front end aero to keep it down, and I didn't have it. And the car felt like it was turning into an airplane, and I just was like, you know what? I like being alive more than I like to be able to brag. I went 235 instead of 225. You know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing. Somebody might be saying, "Mommy, mommy, mommy," but I will tell you, toward the finish line, we had 9/10 to the finish line, and we had two turns at 45-degree angles. So we did one at 190.
Wow, that's moving.
Around the corners.
That's
amazing.
Around
the corners, a 45, yeah. And the car handled it beautifully, as did the driver.
And so let's talk about the rear of the car. When I was scrolling through Facebook, the first thing I saw was the black C8 Z06 maybe. I don't know if it was a C8 Z06 or C8, but it was a black C8, top.
That was the first car I showed up with there. And I quickly realized I want to make it to Unlimited. And what's the best possible platform to go Unlimited? This is Chevy ZR1 platform with 13 coolers built in from the factory.
Right.
The heat's the killer there.
Yeah, and it's got the big enough half shafts and different things, so you know you're not going to snap a half shaft at those speeds. I know of a guy who likely lost his life because of a split half shaft on a GTO. And the guy knew how to drive, and he was just out going fast on the highway one night, and he was on a straight stretch of highway, and the car just went hard left into the barrier wall, and that was that, and no more. He was gone. So, those half shafts.
I will do half shafts on for the next race.
Are you really? You're going to put new ones on?
Yeah, these are done.
Okay.
So if G-Speed or G-Force wants to sponsor half shafts for me, I'm willing to accept.
Well, hope you send them the link to this video or any other videos you do. So yeah, that's the big fear for me is the half shaft snapping. So I'm glad you're on top of that.
It's always been known as a weak point, and I got all I could out of it, kind of like the speedometer.
And so
my biggest here, I'll tell you one thing. My biggest takeaway with John is he's an engineer degree,
Right.
and I can tell why he's an engineer. But you're talking to somebody with a lot of knowledge, and he's been there, done that, and he's thought of every possible thing
That can
that
fail.
could go wrong and what he needs to replace. So you're talking to he doesn't brag about it, but I'm just amazed by it.
Yep. You got to stay alive. And that's what I started my YouTube channel about, was there was just so much bad information on the groups. And so I started, and then I got tangented. I went a different direction. But what I was starting to say was, I didn't realize when I saw that little image on Facebook that I was Facebook friends with the gentleman who, broke the record. I'm like, oh, I got to add him as a friend. There's a guy who actually drives the cars fast, I'm sure. And to my surprise, he and I had already chatted before back in 2021, and he's super supportive and everything. And I can't tell you how many times that's happened now. And I'm really appreciative of people like John who, had a keen eye early on to say, you know what, I'm going to follow this Brandon guy. He might be a little crazy, but he kind of knows some things about the cars that other people don't talk about. Because I've been going fast for a long time, but what you guys are doing is now way more professional and more amazing than what I've ever done. My stuff, I hate to even talk about my stuff because I don't want to set a bad example for some 16-year-old somewhere thinking, oh, I'm going to be like Brandon and go out run the cops and be crazy. But
let's make an honest person out of you. Come out to the race in April and enter it.
Absolutely. What I
love the West Texas hospitality.
Absolutely.
And, this road really is a challenge.
Absolutely, it is.
Big Bend Open Road people and the people that run it call it the most challenging open road race in the world.
Do I need a roll bar though? Is the problem?
It's a challenge.
Do I need a roll bar?
First,
you're not going to be able to just go and say, sign me up and go to Unlimited anyway. You have to prove yourself as a driver and work yourself up in classes.
Okay.
So they're going to they'll make an IndyCar driver enter the rookie year at just 110 to make sure they're safe.
Yeah.
It's because that road is not straight. There's 60 challenging corners in that road.
Right.
That's a total of 120 out of 118 miles. So that's why it's 173.004 is the average speed world record.
Right.
You're not going to be able to. They don't want you to go out there and do something silly and shut the race down. So you have to be professional about that. And it's run some people off. I hate to say it. They want to do. I want it when I want it when I want it. Well,
yeah.
It doesn't work that way.
No. Be patient but check your boxes and prove you're qualified and you get to go do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll get more information from you about.
Not just qualified.
Yeah. Is there like a specific website a person goes to sign up?
BBORR.org, I think it is.
Okay.
Yeah, BBORR.com org.com.
So the video, I don't know if you saw the video I put up. I'm sure you did because you messaged me back and said that you'd seen it. But that video I put up yesterday, John, about the black Corvette where I melted the license plate frame, and people didn't believe me that happens. And here you melted the whole back end of the car.
Well, I didn't really expect that. No, I've melted like the ZR1 logo off in the past, and it's proudly on the wall, dripping like candle wax. And license plate frames don't survive. But when I made it down to the halfway point, we didn't really see any additional damage to the rear. I'm like, oh, okay, fine. I'm gonna have a car I can go race at Texas Mile next weekend. Well, when we got out of the car and celebrated, and then went around to the back, everybody that saw it was in shock because of the damage, and it's
wow.
As far as we can tell, just a heat bloom because we were the last 4 minutes, the last 13 miles of the race, no lifting and 100% effort out of that engine the whole time.
How much horsepower does the engine make?
A lot of heat.
You said
it makes it just in the okay. I normally say for racing, you got to beat me to find out. It's not a K-Tech built motor, but it was up there getting tuned and finished off by them. But a lot of parts on there are K-Tech. There's a lot of K-Tech parts we put on it.
Who did did they do the tuning? Because one of the big things I know on those LT5 blowers is, see, I was friends back in the day with, in communication, another guy like yourself who really knows his stuff. His name was Chris Crawford, and he was a tuner. And he was one of the first people, along with his competitor, but I'm not on either one of their teams. I respect them both, but there was Ben at Weapon X and there was Chris Crawford, and they were the first two people, to my understanding, to figure out that the LT5 blower has a separate butterfly valve in there that you have to tune it closed to make the max power. And GM normally leaves it open so they can keep it. It's like a turbo, what do you call it, boost controller, where they open up that butterfly valve so the car only makes 750 horsepower OEM. But if you close that, there you are at 1,000 almost, So if you put on the corresponding,
more than that.
Right.
Tech is the one that took care of that. Oh, there was a couple nannies. There's I ran aftermarket brakes, and then the brake light, the little warning light was on. And my first run at speed, GM left a 201 mile an hour speed limit in there, and I was like, what is good with a race car with a 201 mile an hour speed limit? Right. So K-Tech took every nanny out. There is you posted, I think, the heats from the
COT.
Yeah, the catalytic converter, and I was like, no, we found out that K-Tech removed every nanny.
Okay, cool. So you just had 1,000 horsepower heat is what melted the rear of your car.
Prolonged heat.
Yeah.
Produced a lot of horsepower.
Yeah, and the other thing that a lot of people don't realize is it's not just those mufflers. There's heat exchangers back there in the back of the car that those shoulder intakes on the C7 are sucking air down to. And I'm sure those things were blazing hot, those heat exchangers that cool down the rear diff and the transmission and what have you back there. So that heat really has a hard time escaping from the C7 platform. So I bet you that built up in there as well.
I believe you're correct.
That's awesome, though, that it all held together. And maybe you could take like a stencil with the logo ZR1 and cut a big hole in the back of the car and let the heat escape, and that'll be the ZR1 logo as the hole.
Well, we're going to have to come up with a different bumper plan, because I don't think I'm going to run the ABS bumper anymore. And we'll try and figure. I am going to go and work out a shielding for the exhaust to keep it out of the best I can. Keep it out of the exhaust bubble, or get it to mix a little bit further back in the car.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
let's talk about tires. What?
Some kind of plan?
Yeah. The heat shield idea on top the exhaust, like a flat plate. I definitely agree with that. And then what did you guys use for tires?
We actually, Kelly last race tried the new Hoosier Track Attack Pros, and I consulted with the engineer for almost a day about the Track Attack Pros. And he told me that it really is the best possible setup for what we're trying to do. Because you're taking a cold tire and taking it within 30 seconds up to 200 miles an hour.
Okay.
And there is no way to warm up those tires. So they had me set up the wing, the camber, the tire pressure, everything to go and make it for the extreme environment we're putting that tire through.
Now, did they have you set the camber back to street camber, or did they let you keep it at race camber?
Yes, they did.
That's a well-kept secret. You know nothing.
I got you.
I'm gonna overrule it here.
Right.
Well, I'll tell you what I know. I'll tell you what I tell on my channel, and you can go back and verify this. This is my knowledge. I preach on my channel because I really do take the cars up to top speed often, more than the average person that I've ever met. But I learned a long time ago that if I run a little bit of extra tire pressure, and I just run like the OEM Michelin 4S tires, right, for the street. If I run a little bit of extra tire pressure up around 35, 36 PSI, and I just leave the regular street alignment on the car and I don't go to a track alignment, that extra angle on the tire, it bulges the tire out a little bit, okay? But the tires are going to be bulged out anyway because of the top speed, so they're bulging regardless. But the point is, when you come down and go around turns and such, you've built in what I call a cheat camber, or like a rocking chair camber, where as you go around the turn faster and faster, you roll to the outside of the tire. Instead of the tire just be a perfect square where you roll over the edge of it, the tire has like a rocking chair effect to it where you roll to the outside of it because you've run the extra pressure. So if I had to take a wild guess what those Hoosier guys told you, I'm gonna stick to my gospel and say, I bet you they know something along the lines of what I know, and they probably advised you somewhere similar to there. And I don't need perfect confirmation, but
both
No,
very wide.
I'm gonna step in here. So
Yeah.
that is your type of racing. This is open road racing, not even the same, and we're again not gonna
Yep.
divulge what we would actually do.
I got you. No problem.
Okay. But what the most helpful thing with the tire was,
Yeah.
Kelly ran those tires in the last race. And
Yep.
the last race, she was got to experience them at speed and around these aggressive corners, and really knew their behavior well, because they don't behave like a slick, and they don't behave like a street tire.
Yeah.
And she knew their limits and their feel, and could guide me around the corner faster than I would have when I was trying to learn them at speed. So
Right.
It sounds like you're a driver, Kelly.
this open road racing is different than track.
My dad was a sprint car racer back in the day.
Well, those are the people who know how to
Long
drive.
balance or-
See, I grew up in southern Indiana and Ohio, and there's dirt tracks all over the place. And we used to go to Eldora. And anybody who knows how to drift a car around one of those tracks, they're light years ahead of all the people who have no clue how to do it. So if you grew up around that, you know what you're doing.
Thank you.
And it was so helpful for me to get her in the car and turn this into a team effort.
Yep. And I'll tell you something else about your C6, Kelly, that you probably are aware of, but maybe not. You have a mechanical differential car, which is a wonderful thing. The newer cars, the C7s and C8s, have an E-diff, and that E-diff does really weird things in the turns, even on the C7s, but I didn't notice it that much. With the C7, it wasn't so pronounced that like I freaked out about it, but with the C8s, if you talk to John about me long enough, he'll be like, yeah, this guy was going crazy about the E-diff program on the C8 and making a big...
E-diff tried to kill me at Coda.
What happened?
In the C8 Z06, it took me into the wall on the inside of 9 at Coda. And that's not a fast corner in a corner I've been around 1,000 times, and I was like, why are you slipping, car? And the best I could figure out looking at data was the E-diff just didn't like what the brand new tire pressure sensors I just put on them, and going over to another set of tires, and it just, on a lap after the warm-up lap, it just freaking behaved like, you're pointing at the wall now, and hold on for that.
Yep, it's the craziest thing how it just locks up without any warning. So it's like a bipolar car. And I don't know if you guys have seen the Ayrton Senna documentaries. There's a really good one that's just, it's got like a yellow helmet on it. It's like 2 hours long, and you know it's good because it starts out with really good music. But Ayrton Senna was that F1 driver who ended up dying because he went into a wall at real high speed at Imola. And I always was worried with these E-diffs that the C8 was a bipolar car and that I might go into a wall with it, or into the trees, I should say. I'm not at the racetrack. I go to the Tennessee and North Carolina mountains all the time. And so I was worried the car was going to take me off the road. And through this whole thing, I realized the car that Ayrton Senna wrecked and got killed in was his first E-diff Formula One car. Prior to that, all his cars were mechanical diff. So I knew that he'd said that the car was bipolar, but I didn't put it together that we were complaining about the exact same thing. And it took me years of doing research about this, and the C8's really what opened my eyes to it. And the mechanical diff cars are going extinct. Maserati had the mechanical diff in the MC20 as an option because they use the C8 transmission, and the C8 transmission comes in E-diff and mechanical diff, but ironically, General Motors only puts the mechanical diff in the non-Z51 in the slowpoke car that overheats. All the rest of them, and same thing with the C7, the slowpoke non-Z51 C7 still has a mechanical diff, but all the Grand Sports and Z51s and Z06s and ZR1s, they're all E-diff, only option. And that's one of my pet peeves. So you have a really special car, Kelly, to still have a mechanical diff. So understand when you're being his co-pilot, I'm just telling you this so that you guys are aware of it. If you're thinking, okay, John, you can go faster and step the car out more like I do on my C6, the answer might not be that he can, because that E-diff program is very counterintuitive that the moment the car even steps out for like a millisecond, it fights you. And on the C8, I don't know where it is on the C7, but on the C8, right around about 70 to 90 miles per hour, the program changes. So below 70, you can drift the car out sideways like your sprint cars. It'll let you do it. But above 90, if you try to step that thing out, it locks up that E-diff. It'll take you straight off the road. So at you guys' speeds...
Like I said, John is very savvy and tuned all this, and that's one reason why I'm paired up with him.
Absolutely.
He knows this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's really good that you guys are got both the angles figured
I got a
out.
question, Brandon.
Yeah, go ahead.
Out of all the roads you drive, would any of those roads be deserted enough where it could be organized into an open road race somewhere out east? Because I've been approached several times about we would love to run it, and I don't know of a road that's sparsely populated enough and to do even 20 miles.
Yeah, I agree.
Cool.
I agree with you. Everything has too many people on it, and there's a lot of. I know you say there's a lot of wildlife out west, but you got to understand as you come east, there's far more forest and roughage, weeds and stuff. There's way more animals per mile out here. I feel like, and that's really my biggest fear is animals. I'm not really, the cars I can kind of calculate for them. Police I can watch out for them. My biggest fear is animals coming out of nowhere, especially when I'd be down in the southern states with hogs. You have a hog go through your front end of your car, and you may as well have just ran into a tree stump. I mean, your airbags are going to go off. Your steering rack is going to be broken.
We have javelinas, we have elk, we have bear.
We have mule deer.
There's no people out there, just animals.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those javelina, they don't move. They come out on the road and they stood there.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of them.
So it's a concern. They run a sweep for us before the race, but you just never know what the critter's going to do.
Yeah, no kidding. But yeah, that's spooky at those speeds. But how wide is the road? It's probably only 2 lanes wide, or is it 4 lanes wide?
Some are 2s. It does stretch out in some places where some corners you have a good 3 or 4 lanes to use.
There you go.
Because you use the whole thing.
I got you. So the tires, what shape? Were the tires in good shape then after you followed the Hoosier guys' advice?
Excellent.
So you'll be able to still use those tires then at like a regular racetrack day some other time. You're probably not going to use them in that event again, but
or something in December.
Yeah, so you're going to run new tires again next time, right?
I'm going to run probably the same new tires.
Yep.
But the same tires the next run because that's the happiest set I've found yet.
Once you get up,
they're good tires.
Once you get up around the 225, 230 mile per hour range, you're really putting a detrimental stress on the tire, the bands. And like you said you got up above 217 maybe or so, and you probably got even faster. And so it's always a good advice for the people watching along with us that if you ever do anything like this, put on new tires because you don't know what's happened to those bands in there. They're good to go to the racetrack with still, but it's just not worth the risk of going top speed again.
Yeah, it's different world what we're doing.
That's right. So are you a pilot?
World, though.
Kelly, are you still a pilot? You do piloting?
I am. I'm a retired captain for American Airlines.
Okay. Do you still do anything with that these days, or?
I teach part-time the next generation babies, I call them, because they're younger than me.
Yeah.
How to fly the entry-level jet. So that's what I do over at the DFW airport.
So entry-level jet, is that like a private jet?
They're private jets. It's not charter. We don't do charter. These are companies, families that own these jets.
Right, I got you.
And I'll fly on occasion. I don't fly it on Fridays, so anyway, that's what I do.
I got you.
I enjoy racing. I do racing. My dad did it, and it brings me back to my dad. My dad's name was on John's car, so he was watching over us from heaven, and it gave me a good, warm and fuzzy feeling.
That's cool.
And I appreciate Don doing that. Yeah.
What, if you don't mind me asking, what year roughly did your dad pass away?
My dad he was trying to get into the Sprint Car Nationals up in Iowa, and he at the time trials his transmission separated.
Oh shit!
And it dug into the dirt, and it flipped end over end, and it broke his neck and his hands, and he became a quadriplegic.
Oh shit!
And so, so that's why the safety that we've got in these cars now, it comes from that era. You look at what happens in the past, and they debrief, and hey, we need to do this, we need to do that, and improve. And so our car, our cars have an incredible amount of safety. We've got an F1 removable steering wheel. We've got NASCAR. Indy.
Fire suppressant.
Yep.
The cage is NHRA 8.5 rated.
Mm-hmm.
We did everything we can do to make it as safe as possible.
And so
we
you don't
have to never ever use any of it.
You don't need airbags because you're strapped in with the racing harness so well. Is that correct?
There's no airbags in there any longer. Yes.
No, we have seats, and when they get done strapping me in, I can't move.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. And even your helmet's probably strapped in to some extent, isn't it?
Yeah.
The helmets are Hans, and we also, I would not even dream of any kind of racing without a Hans device.
Okay.
The seats are OMP containment seats, so your helmet doesn't move.
Right.
Yeah.
You're looking straight ahead and looking sideways with your eyes to the rearview mirror if you even care to look.
Where are you?
Yeah, that's right.
That's funny.
Yep.
Maybe if I looked back, I would have realized the rear of the car was melting down, but I doubt it, and it wouldn't have slowed us down at all.
No.
Have you guys torn the engine down yet, or put a scope down in there yet to look at the?
Actually, the only thing I'm going to do for this, the short-term plan is just go and do an oil analysis through Blackstone.
I got you.
Hopefully they say this looks great, and I doubt I do anything major to this engine. I like the way it's running.
The only thing I would say is maybe stick a scope down, one of those little snake guys, to look at the piston face and just check for detonation ping marks. And if you don't see anything, you're good to go.
We're planning on pulling the plugs and going through all of them.
Yeah, we do all that stuff. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, then you're all over it. Well, I don't want to take up the rest of your day because I could talk to you guys all day long because you guys actually know what you're doing. And like I said, I take it as a huge humbling compliment that you've been following me since day one. That I was one of the people where you said, let's keep an eye on this guy because he might, show us something that we don't know yet or whatever. And I definitely encourage you to get a YouTube channel going or something. Just buy an extra phone with an extra phone line. And
I think everybody, if they're excited about this speed, we realize what the potential of the car is doing. If we can actually find the conditions to show them, they'll be amazed at if we break the record. They'll be amazed about what the new record would be.
Absolutely. So, and then the C8 Zr1, what are your thoughts on it? I know it consumes a lot of fuel. What do you think?
It's a great platform, and it does have a 233 top speed right now slicked out. But as far as what I can get from the GN engineers, it can't go and compete against in this race because of the fuel burn. Mm-hmm. They can only get 20 minutes out of Coda, and Coda you slow down for a lot of those corners, so it's not going to make 20 minutes of full throttle. Mm-mm.
Right.
And you also have the challenge, you have to fully cage that car, and a C8 car is an extremely tough car to cage.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think
fantastic car. I'd love to get one someday, Chevy, if you're listening. But
I'm not a perfect crystal ball, but I do believe that the COT has a lot to do with why the ZR1 burns through fuel so fast because they have to keep those cats from melting. Whereas you said that you've removed your cats, therefore K-Tech was able to remove that from the tune, the COT, because there's no longer any cats to keep cool. And for the people watching along, I'm just going to explain for the people who don't understand what we're talking about right now. What they do is it's a strategy that OEMs have to do where they run extra fuel, run extra rich because the fuel actually acts like kind of like windshield washer fluid and sprays on the catalytic converters as it goes out the exhaust pipe. And that's where you see the exhaust light up like a torch behind the OEM ZR1s because it's coming out so rich that then when it hits that glowing cat, it ignites it and then it finds its oxygen on the way out the back, and that's where that torch comes from. So your car, I'm not going to say it doesn't have any fire, but it's probably a little bit trickier to get yours to light up on fire because you're running a more Stoich, as they call it, fuel mixture, which allows you to go further without running out of fuel, whereas the new ZR1, which makes about the same horsepower as your car probably, does run out of fuel very quickly because they have to keep those cats cool by running extra rich.
Mm-hmm. Well, one of my goals for this racing event is the top speed is currently a very respectable top speed, but I want to not worry about the corner speed, remove all the extra aero and slick the car up as much as possible, and go to say, oh, I just beat the ZR1 record. I went faster than that one.
Right. I think you could do it if you sealed up the front to an extent. With my, and I know it sounds braggy to say this, but with my oil cooler, you could literally block off the other cheek with the other radiator, because those are huge parachutes, those two cheeks, inhaling all that air.
They're needed right now for the run.
Right, they're needed. But if you blocked off one of them and just had an oil cooler in the other one, you would gain a lot of speed and you would be within temperature no problem. And the reason why I say that is because I know guys with Z06s who are making 800 to 1,000 horsepower who only run my oil cooler that I designed, and they have no overheating issues whatsoever. And they don't have the extra radiators up in the front.
Be a couple races from now. We have to accomplish things first.
Step by step. Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
There are things to do.
Yep. Well, I'm going to let you guys go because I know you got a lot to do today, and I sure do appreciate you guys. We've been on the phone for 41 minutes. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. And
wow.
Thank
you, sir.
I can't tell you how much I am flattered that we were already Facebook friends when I went to look at who set this record.
I've been a fan of your channel since I first stumbled upon it and said, ooh, he's got good advice.
Yeah, he's a little out there. He's
from so many different people, and he's one of them.
I appreciate you, sir. And Kelly, I look forward to you helping him get a YouTube channel going here, because you guys definitely deserve to be on the air and showing people what's going on, because I can tell the people who know what they're talking about, the people who don't. Obviously, you guys know what you're talking about because you went out and proved it. And I know you're keeping the tire stuff secret, but I have a feeling I'm not far off from what Hoosier says, because I've lived it also. And I'm glad that you guys aren't. I had a buddy who ate up the inside of his tire, and the tire came apart and ripped his whole fender apart on his car. And I've tried to explain it to him. I'm like, you got to add more air to your tire to get the middle of the tire on the ground, because you're only riding on your inside shoulder and you're running this silly race camber. That's good if you're going around turn after turn, but when you're just going fast down the highway, that can get you killed because that inside shoulder wears out. So I'm always preaching this stuff to people, because the first thing these guys do is they watch these YouTube channels and they say, oh, I got to go to race camber. And they tilt their camber out like they're those silly cars that you see with the, micro machine wheels or whatever, those Honda cars. But anyway, I sure do appreciate you guys and appreciate what you do for the community, Kelly. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, great. I'm gonna say one more thing.
Yeah.
Different technique for different race.
Yep, that's right.
Different race.
That's exactly right.
I appreciate talking to you, Brandon, and meeting you, and you have a safe time when you drive your car, and so we will do the same.
If you guys ever make it up towards Tail of the Dragon, I would love to come meet you, and I'd love to show you the roads that are better than the Tail of the Dragon, that don't have a bunch of people on them, and you can carry a lot more speed on these other roads, but they're just as windy, turn per capita, but they're just not such tight little turns that are made for like a Miata. Instead, you can get up to 120 on the straights, and then you go around the turns at about 60 or 70 at 1.2 lateral G, and just beautiful roads that go across the tops of mountains that nobody knows about. And I'm not going to tell you what they're called because I don't want anybody else there. But when we get there, I'll show you.
Okay. Well, looking forward to it, sir. Thank you for the invite.
Okay, well, sounds good.
And you and everybody else that want to go and have fun and legally with the cars, come out to West Texas and go race the Big Bend Open Road Race, or the Nevada races, Silver State, or the Nevada Open Road Challenge. It's a blast.
Yes, BBORR.com.
Okay. Well, maybe, see, here's the problem. My C7 Zr1 is a lemon. It's got to go back to GM here eventually, so I can't use it in a race, because if I use it in a race, they can void the lemon law. But I'll find a car, and like I said, you probably noticed, I just got my hands on a C7 Zr1. Just got my license plates the other day, but I believe what you're saying about the fuel being an issue. I already knew. That's why I kind of brought it up, that I wouldn't be able to probably make it unless a fuel cell was added to the car or something along those lines. So.
Okay. Well, thank you, sir.
Yep. Have a good day, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Cool people. Know what they're talking about. It's cool he had a co-pilot with him, a literal co-pilot. All right, guys, that's a long enough episode. See ya.